So welcome to Kerala.
Thank you.
And I know that you have been here with an official visit for some meetings here for the Reserve Bank of India board. And you have come at a very special time where there has been a lot of discussion about the decision of Reserve Bank of India in recalling the 2000 rupee denominated notes. And the media has created a narrative which is akin to that of a demonetization. How will you respond as a part of the decision making process, and how will it impact the economy?
Number one, this is not demonetization, absolutely. The 2000 rupee note remains a legal tender. So, unlike when they were demonetized, they couldn't be used for any transactions. 2000 rupee note can be used for as a legal tender. So, that is number one. Number two, demonetization was a very important decision which the Reserve Bank and central government took about 5 years back. And at that time, lot of money was demonetized, particularly high value notes of 1000 rupees and 500 rupees. And we needed some currency in the hands of the people, so the economic activity could continue unaffected. 2000 rupee note was, that's why issued at that time to meet the requirements of our economy. And we fulfilled the target as a country in about 1.5 months' time completely. If 2000 rupee notes had not been issued at that time, for us to print new notes of 500 rupee denomination and 100 and those things, it could have taken 1 year and more. So, economy would have been badly affected, and that is why that 2000 rupee note was issued for some time. Number two, Reserve Bank, once the target was achieved, has stopped printing the notes, and the banks are also not issuing 2000 rupee notes either through ATM or through the, I would say, the banking cash counters. Number three, 2000 rupee notes are not being used also by anybody. They have been just whatever is in circulation, whatever is in public hands are being used as for storage only. Reserve Bank has a clean note policy, and a typical lifespan of a note is about 4 to 5 years. Now that period is also over. The note is not being utilized, and the purpose for which the note was issued is also been achieved. That is the reason why it has been withdrawn, and people have been given sufficient time, say 4 months up to 30th of September. So, there is no reason to be worried, and it will absolutely not affect the common man and the economy at all. It will not have any impact on it. So, the hype that has been created in a section of the media is unnecessary, I feel.
So, are you telling us that the 2000 rupee note, if somebody is in possession of that, even after the timeline that is given, is still a legal tender? Will it still be, there is a small doubt in the minds of the people because there is a deadline that is given, and
deadline is sufficiently long.
Fine, sir.
So, there is no issue on that.
No.
They can exchange it. See, two things everybody should understand, that any number of notes can be deposited in the bank account, number one, and at a time 20 notes can be exchanged. So, there is no issue, people have no difficulty in exchanging notes.
So, that is not the question, sir. What we have had a time limit, especially in the Kerala, there has been a lot of problems where NRIs face during the exchange of notes, where people who are outside, who had kept cash in India, were not able to transact or exchange the notes. So there has been multiple requests for extending of time and all, you are aware of that. But is there something like that where or when we talk about a legal tender, it still remains a legal tender, can this 2000 rupee note beyond that period window be used?
As of today, the Reserve Bank has not clarified on this issue. If it is noticed that there is little more time needed for further extension, it could be given. And for those Indians who are residing abroad, if they need time, it can be given. If you remember, notes were also withdrawn from circulation in 2013 and 14. And initially it was given for 3 months, thereafter it got extended, and then it continued for quite some time. So in this case also, if the necessity is felt that we have to give time, time could be extended. I don't see any major issue. See, the whole purpose is 2000 rupee note is not in circulation at all, nobody is using it. This 2000 rupee note as a part of clean note policy has to be withdrawn. And the third point is the purpose for which it was issued after demonetization has been achieved. So there is no reason why people should hold on to these 2000 rupee notes when the Reserve Bank is saying. And if somebody has difficulties, more time could be considered. Reserve Bank would be open to that, I feel.
Okay.
But as of today, the deadline is 30th September.
Okay. Thank you, sir, for clarifying especially when Kerala media has created a lot of uncertainties about this process. I thought they know
underinformed, I would say.
But I think the press release was fairly clear about.
And it has come out with an FAQ also. Those who want to should also read the FAQ. It's a beautifully drafted frequently asked questions on this.
On the website, on the RBI website.
It's there available.
So the people who have doubts about the notes being withdrawn, you could please log into the Reserve Bank website www.rbi.org.in. That's the website. Thank you very much, because this has been a heated topic of discussion over the last couple of days. So we thought you are the right person to clarify all these matters in the official capacity as the director.
RBI's press release is very eloquent on this matter. So just as you mentioned about the website, they can also read the press release.
Thank you very much on that. Let us move on. A few more questions since we got your time. Basically there has been a lot of foreign media, foreign agencies saying that, including the World Bank or the IMF, saying that we are growing to a level where it's an unprecedented level of growth and we will be the world leader. And we have the 0% chance of being hit by a recession. So how is RBI looking at it?
No, there is no recession in the country and there is no likelihood of recession in the country.
That's what the Bloomberg, everybody has said.
They are saying, and they are saying it correctly. On all sectors, we are performing well. Okay. Whether it is containment of fiscal deficit, managing our current account deficit, foreign exchange reserves, financial system, everywhere we are doing well. And as a country, there is no absolutely chance of we entering a recession. In fact, many do not know the Eurozone has also come out of it, and there is no recession in Eurozone anymore now. It's a small growth, but then they have come out
of recession. So that's a positive angle for the whole global economic this thing. We don't see a meltdown per se as we have experienced about a decade back. Or
there will be no meltdown.
That's a very encouraging thing, because as we grow, we need the world to grow together. Only then there will be a progress in the for the entire nations. So also we have been talking about the exchange or the rupee trade between a few countries now, which we have signed. Can you explain for the common man to understand how does this rupee trade work, especially in the wake where the Russians probably we found that the Russians are very little concerned about the Vostro account?
See, there is an increasing tendency for the last few years that friendly countries should exchange, transact in their mutual currencies. That is the position. And dollar was once the predominant currency used as for settlement purposes. But today, more and more countries are going away from dollar as a reserve currency. We have also started as a country post Ukraine-Russia war to deal with our friendly countries in rupee. Already it is in force with Russia. It is actively being pursued in Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. And over a period of next few months, I am not talking of years, more than 35 to 40 countries will start dealing with India in their respective currencies. So, the exchange risk, the volatility and the cost of transaction will eventually come down. And the direct effect of this is going to be increased international trade of India, where people are going to supply, they will do that. Now Russians, for example, were never investing in government securities of the country. A few days back you must have read, they have now started investing in government securities. It's a very positive sign, it's a signal that the financial health of the country is good. So it will have its own benefits and it will be useful.
So when you talk about the financial health of the country, can you tell us how we managed to get out of that pandemic affected great lockdown that we almost had an impact of 2 years, when many countries are still possibly not out of that activity? There is a general narrative that is in town, in Kerala especially, that the government possibly has not injected enough. Right from the beginning, when the Atmanirbhar Bharat scheme was announced, there was always a criticism that the money, the putting money in the pocket of the people kind of narratives were not mentioned. So how did RBI look at it as a...
See, it was not only the RBI, but the central government and the RBI and other experts in the financial sector brought out a very wonderful suggestion. It was an out-of-box suggestion. People may have forgotten, but we injected as much as 18 lakhs of crores of liquidity in the system and helped the industry, all types of activities, to continue their operations during the pandemic. That is number one. You don't have to put money necessarily always in the pockets of the people. What you need is liquidity and enabling environment. And once the effects of pandemic started receding, gradually the liquidity has been withdrawn. If we had at one point of time as much as 8 lakh crores surplus liquidity in our country on a daily basis, today it is hovering around 1 lakh crores or a little less. So we have managed our finances extremely well. We have ensured that there is no inflation, excessive inflation. The government has worked also on the supply side, and everything was made available. As a consequence, though there was an increased inflation, it has been tamed, and it's hovering around 5.25% for the present. And the maximum inflation worries are over now. As we see, of course, there is a lot of uncertainty because of the Ukraine-Russia war and the sanctions and counter-sanctions that's happening across the globe. But for us, it is we are out of tunnel, so there is no question. And India's position is good. Our forex reserves are continuously rising. FPIs are investing in our stock markets. Our current account deficit is in manageable level of between 2 to 3%. Fiscal deficit is being gradually controlled, and over a period of next 2 years it will be what has been enacted within the FRBM we should generally be able to do that. So financially we are doing well, and when we announced the Atmanirbhar Bharat Yojana, the whole purpose was that we should not get affected with supply chain logistics issues, and if somebody is making any item, any country is weaponizing it, we should not fall prey to it. That was the whole idea, and our PLI schemes have worked wonders in electronic field, in pharmaceuticals, in startups. So we have had good results, and we should bounce back. We should emerge as the third largest economy in the course of next 3 to 4 years. We will go ahead of both Japan and Germany. That's the projection, that's the figures that we receive.
So moving to a little controversial topic to make sure that we end on a very. There has been a lot of controversies with regard to the RBI governors in the past. Whereas when a non-economist as an administrator came in, there was business as usual, and the RBI was not in the news for anything very negative or for any statements made by the RBI governor or any variance with the government and things like that. It was not publicly talked about, at least. So how will you look at that as a economist, academician being a governor, and a administrator being a governor?
Worldwide, the central government, any central government, and the central banks always works in tandem, and that is what has been achieved in our country. So we should be happy that there is they are working in tandem, and we have come out of the woods quickly and soon only because they worked in tandem. So that is the positive part of it. And I would also say that there is mutual consultation from time to time at the highest level, and that has helped the country.
So thank you so very much, sir, for sparing some time to discuss the matter with the viewers of Janam TV, and it will be a pleasure to have a visit of yours next time so that we can have a more detailed discussions on the television channel.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much.